This is one of very active group when we start the street photography group. When we start in 2019 July up to February 2020, we had excursion in every other month and critique sessions and awareness programs. Likewise, uh, we had a very active group there. So I'll try to continue the same rhythm, same platform in future also with the broad aspects of including the travel, street and the travel, both aspects. Uh, when we are starting the street group, we had our objectives. Uh, for this group also, we have some objectives very similar to the previous objectives. I have listed in summarized format. I'll share the uh, comprehensive list of objectives with you all in our WhatsApp group. Uh, One thing I want to uh, share with you, the our one of our main objective is to give members uh, opportunity to present their work. So this fourth objective, present the work by members among other members, is one of key area we are going to address. And of course, the critique by others, we are doing those things at the moment also. Not only that, we are plan to help the members to select the better images for if they are going to submit for competitions also. So that's the basically objective of the uh, group. And when we are starting the street photography group, we have very thorough discussion about what is street photography is and what can be considered as street photography, as well as what can't be considered as street photography. So I want to continue the similar discussion for travel photography also. This is abstract from our website. So everyone can go through it and see what are the what is the uh, definition of the travel photography is. I want to make the this red color uh, thing to highlight because it says what can't be the the travel photography. It says images from events or activities arranged specifically for photography or of subjects directed or hired for photography are not permitted. So it need little understanding and discussion what can we consider as travel photography or what can't be considered as. So with the time, I have a plan to discuss this in thoroughly, especially with some experts, with judges and so on. Then we have a plan to uh, the year ahead. We have planned some activities. Uh, main thing is the monthly meeting. So we have decided to give preference uh, to our members in monthly meetings. So I am welcome all the members to present their work. So voluntarily, you can come discuss and have a good presentation. We know that a lot of our members have a lot of very good images in their hard drive. So it's time to take those images out and present your work. And also we plan some guest presentations, awareness and photo critic sessions also. And other thing is very similar to the creative group. This monthly theme, they have every other week theme, but we discuss and we thought we have a monthly theme uh, on a close FB group. This is also we think it's preferred to have in FB group because you can see it in a larger screen. Uh, while we are running with our current WhatsApp group, we can have a separate FB group to share our images and comment on those images. And also we encourage members to give the if one member submit the image for the themes, give some feedback why it is why you like it, and also one suggestion or uh, any bad thing or any area to improve in this image. It's helpful for both parties to improve their skills. And also in addition to that, we think if one member submit the image in one place or the one location, if anyone has a similar image or a different image in the same location, it's better to share that with that as a comment on that post. Then everyone can see what are the people looking in the same thing in different ways. And theme and the other details of the monthly theme will inform uh, in near future. And we have a plan to have some excursions, workshops also, but not in very recently. But we have some plans to do. With that uh, note, I uh, request any member to have any suggestions. If you have any suggestion for any activity we can do, it's time for anyone to come up and suggest it. If we miss anything or any suggestion to uh, what anyone, what you all expect from us.
Hello, Nilan. Can I say something?
Yes, sure.
Uh, I'm quite new to this group and I love this street and travel photography. Some of you may know I did a presentation. My main subject is traffic and traffic accidents. So,
Dr.
due to
Jailath.
yeah. Because of this pandemic situation, since we can't meet each other, is there any possibility to organize a training session at least through Zoom? Because I'm not confident to put forward
Yes.
my photograph for anybody because I'm not sure whether they are good or not. I'm ready to publish a coffee table book soon.
Mhm.
That's again based on traffic and traffic accidents and traffic behaviors. But before sending to you your group, since you are experts in photography, I like to develop my confidence. So if you can organize a demonstration session or training session or something, people like me will be benefited a lot.
Yes, we
Can be
can.
paid or it can be free or can be paid. I don't mind whichever the
Uh-huh.
form it
No, we
is.
can organize. Only thing is, I think no one in this group is expert in photography. All all of we are uh, do it as hobby. So we are doing some other work as our
What
professions.
we can, what just to add, I think what we can do is, as Nilan very rightly said, that we all are not experts, but we can learn from each other. Best would be, I think, to have a kind of a critique session first,
Ah, yes.
and And because I think sometimes we are the worst critics of our photography. We may think that our photos are not good enough, but it would be good enough when you kind of present it to the others. So this is you are referring to the street photography or the travel, or you is just focusing on the area that you are currently working on, Jayarath?
No, Shamini, I do not know how to categorize my photo collection. It is travel photography or street photography. Anyway, I'm mainly
Okay.
looking at traffic. So when I look at traffic, I
Right.
see pavements, I like pedestrians, and but my main target is roads and mainly traffic. When I say traffic, it can be vehicular, can be pedestrians.
Right. So
So
but I think you missed the sessions that we initially had for street photography. We had like I think 3 or 4 sessions that we had identifying what street photography is, and what travel photography as well. So best thing would be like we kind of do a refresher, Nilan,
please,
Yes,
yeah.
for
yes.
joining new. I think that will be helpful.
Shamin, is that available in YouTube? That session?
No, we did it at PSSL.
Oh, I see. Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
Shamini,
Yes.
Sam here. I think what Fonny did
Okay.
is on YouTube, and that should give a lot of information to Chalat to understand what street photography is, or to anybody else.
Right.
Sorry, I didn't get that. Sam, what is it? Phony, right?
JFR de Fonseca or Fonny.
Okay. I will check it. I'll check it.
It should be there on the YouTube channel.
Yeah, it
Right.
is,
Thank you.
I think, May or June presentation.
Yes, yes.
This year?
Yes.
Yes, yes, yes.
But I didn't come across such a thing.
That was on
Well,
YouTube. Actually, I also watched
after
it on YouTube.
after COVID, I participated most of the. I don't know how I missed it. Anyway, I will check it. Thank you very much. I will
Okay.
check. So that will be yes, very helpful for me.
Yes, it is very informative presentation. You can
Is it
have
May or
good
June?
idea.
No, I will check. Anyway, I will check in the
Yeah.
YouTube. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nilan, I have a small question.
Yeah.
Hi, this is Sandeep.
Yes, Sandeep.
So, in that particular presentation you were referring to, does it cover the do's and don'ts of street photography in the context of Sri Lanka, like what legal barriers we have and all in here?
No.
Or would we be able to cover something like that
No,
in a future
no.
session?
He categorized the street photography in different categories. Say, architecture, then street life. Likewise, what can he what can be categorized as street photograph? Do's and don'ts he didn't cover at that presentation, but when we start the street photography group, we had few sessions. Unfortunately, those are not on Zoom. It's physical meetings.
Would you be able
But
to,
in order to
in the
refresh,
future?
yes, refresh the new members and the benefit of the new members, as well as refresh the thing, we can have a critic session. In that critic session, we can touch on those topics.
Right.
Is it what do you expect?
Yeah, as long as it covers basically like what legally, like what legal ramifications we can have, and what would be within our, like,
Yes, yes, but I
yeah.
can understand what your
Understand.
concern
Thanks.
is.
Thank you.
Nilan, I have sent the link for his presentation link on YouTube on the chat box. So those who want to copy it, they can copy it and watch it
All
later.
right, thank you. Right. Okay. Anyway, it's not limited to this meeting. You can suggest if you have anything in our WhatsApp group. I think everyone is there. So As you can ask PSSL office to, if you want to join, you can join the street and travel photography group as well. So with that note, in order to organize these events, we need a kind of a organizing group. Last year we had me, Roshan Rasik, as well as uh,
Lalit.
Lalit. There, so this time Lalit is not there. So Roshan is there, so he's definitely he will. Today I think he is not joined yet, but he promised to. He volunteered to have organizing group. So we have another one or two vacancies to for that organizing group. If anyone can volunteer it, you are welcome. Santosh is there, no? Santosh, are you willing to join? Santosh?
The question, what's the question? Sorry.
No, no. We want to form a small group to organizing group. So to organize these kind of workshops and other things and share ideas and have a very good group work. So to that group, can you join?
Yeah, of course. I'll give my support. I'm willing to
Right.
join.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nilan, if there's a vacancy, I don't mind joining you,
Uh,
especially if you want to do anything in Kandy area after COVID-19.
Yes, definitely. I'll add you.
If the committee is full, don't worry.
No.
You can
No.
call me anytime.
Yeah.
If
Yes.
there's any vacancy, yeah, I like to be with you.
How can I refuse your request? You are my teacher.
No, that's different from me.
23 years old goal. Yeah. And one thing I want to say, this all these photographs today I shared is given by Roshan Rasiko Dianti. Dianti is voluntarily is the official photographer for the group, our group as well as wildlife group.
Nilan,
Yes.
you were talking about having a FB group. We have already created, there is for street photography, there is a group. So I think only thing is it's currently inactive. So I think you can reactivate
Yes,
with the,
reactivate, and we'll send the invitation for new members to join also.
yes, you can.
Okay. Right.
When I say inactive means it's inactive is by the members.
Yes, it's up to members to activate it and share their ideas and knowledge. Okay. So we have two volunteers. So if anyone want to join later, also you can join and contribute your support to going on the group. So with that, we'll come to today's main.
කරන්න හොඳයි කියන්න නරකයි.
Today main event, the monthly presentation.
Nilan, we can't hear you.
Today we come to the main our presentation. Can hear now?
Yes, please.
Right. The topic is street photography and I by Rohana Perera. Rohana is one of our active member. He actually we want to have this presentation long time ago. It was initiated by Ravi. but unfortunately, due to some issues, we were unable to have that presentation at that time. So Rohana started photography very well around 1978 in this analog era, but with the time, I think he missed in between the photography. But he's a professionally, he's a physiotherapist attached to Ministry of Health, and he worked in National Hospital LRH, and then he joined College of Physiotherapy as a lecturer, and when he retired in 2019, he was the principal of that college. He joined PSSL in 2015 after following the CAP program conducted by Mr. Panduka de Silva. After that, he got he mainly focused on street photography, travel photography, and in that area, and he has captured number of eye-catching images, and he was recognized in number of international competitions too. He got some awards as well. So we hope we can see some of those nice images today as well. So with that, I'll hand over the floor to Rohana. Rohana, it's up to you now. Thank you.
Hi everyone, good evening. Can you see the screen? Hello.
We can see the screen.
But
Voice is not that clear.
anyway, my voice
Now
is
it
very
is.
hoarse.
Yeah. Okay.
Hello, how is it now?
Okay, you continue.
Okay, thank you very much, Nilan, for the introduction about me, and thank you, PSSL, for organizing all these subgroups and then calling us to make our presentations about our experiences. So today, when Nilan asked whether I can do a presentation, I said, okay, I will do it. And when he asked for the title, I gave title as Street Photography and I. The reason is I was very inquisitive about the definition of street photography, like how Milan was showing the travel photography. Now, during the searches, I never found a proper, very precise definition given by a world professional body. Always you can find any number of definitions. They are personal definitions, I would say, because either by professional photographers or private-like organizations. So I couldn't find a proper definition from a organization like PSA or any other professional world body like that. So for the time being, I thought I will use certain definitions that I have seen in the internet, and first let us define the street. I found this definition from the Oxford English and Spanish dictionary. Street, according to this dictionary definition, is a public road in a city or a town or a village, typically with houses and buildings on one or both sides. So this is the general understanding that we all of us have about a street. So very important word here, I think, is public, means it is open to the public, not a private lane, not a private house or anything. When it comes to street photography, as I said earlier, it's very difficult to find a definition, but I like to, and some of my text is getting masked by the pictures. Can we get rid of this? Oh, right. Okay. Now, this is a definition that I found by a magnophotographer called Caroline Drake. He says, I think every photographer should define what street means to them in their own way. There is no one way of defining street photography. But in the meantime, I found this other definition about street photography. Photography conducted for art or inquiry that features unmediated chance encounters and random incidents within public places, marijuana namely. Now, this definition fits to what Henri Cartier-Bresson has practiced. That's why I like this definition. And even in this, I would even eliminate this for me, because I said street photography and I don't do any kind of reportage, or I am not a reporter. I'm doing my photography for my own satisfaction and to share with my friends and anyone who is interested in seeing my photos. So once I eliminate that part, reportage, I produce photographs just for the sake of my satisfaction, which has a flavor of some art dwelling. And always I try to make it unmediated, means I don't like to interfere with the situation. It's like this. Now, for example, this photograph. In July, we visited Birmingham, and there was a place like a city hall. And as we were going, we saw these people. Suddenly, some people were like flying. And I just waited and watched to see a group of youngsters. They do this type of flying sport. So they are just doing it. And I didn't go to speak to them, I just photographed. And I wanted to keep the things that I saw in a document. That's what I did. But before this, after this group of street photography group was formed, we did several excursions. We went to PETA and I captured this. Now, after I studied these definitions, I realized now this I will not classify as a street photograph anymore. I would call this a street portrait, or it's like a location portrait. There's a man who is running a small tea boutique in PETA. So he was very happy to be photographed by our members. So we were taking photographs. So at that time, I was considering this as a street photograph, but not anymore. I want to make sure that my photograph is very candid and that as if I was not there. I try to keep my presence very insignificant. Okay, I would like to do this presentation under these topics or subtitles, subtopics. Street photography and I would discuss about my gear and my approach, where and when to shoot, how I look for opportunities, what I am naturally drawn to, how I compose and time shots, how I post-process. Okay, gear. Now, since last year, I'm using Canon 6D Mark II with 24 to 70 millimeter 2.8 lens and 50 millimeter 1.8 lens, which I bought this year. Now, this 24 to 70 lens is a very bulky lens. It's very heavy. But I was using it because of this 24 millimeter. Because most of my pictures, you will notice, I have used 24mm 2.8 lens. Then few of my images were done with the 50mm. Occasionally, I might go to 70mm. In my approach, I always like to keep myself invisible. Even when we were going as a group, I was trying to, maybe I myself is camera shy. That may be the reason I am very reluctant to point a camera to another person unless that person is willing to be photographed by me. So on the streets, on the strangers, to their face, I can't just point my camera. So I like to keep my self very invisible and very silently I approach them. And I always use this low angle. That is, I like to have my camera at the waist level uh, and mostly interested in gestures than the facial expressions. I told you once also that I'm very reluctant to point it at the face. So when I'm on the street doing street photography, I'm like a thief of moments. I rob their moments. And since I think last December, I am now using manual exposure. I will explain why I switched on to manual as I go on. Now this is a picture that was captured from the waist level, as I said. But fortunately, with my 60 Canon 60 Mark II, there's a screen that can be rotated in all directions. So it's very easy for me now when I hold it at the waist level, so that I can see what's happening. Otherwise, when I was using my Nikon before August last year, I just had to blindly shoot. I had to guess and shoot. And somehow I managed to capture certain good pictures. This one and this another one from the waist level, low angle. And you can see, and I can explain them under composition. I was just from the waist level weaving through the LCD panel. This setup, this couple attracted my attention, and my wife was standing in this ice cream queue, and suddenly this man was crossing in front of me, and I just released the shutter. And it's a very natural, spontaneous thing. The man is interested in his phone, and no one knows that I had shot this picture. This is another one that we captured last August when we did the PETA excursion. Now, this one, actually I presented this after the excursion. We had a critique session. I presented this and someone suggested why I have left this one man standing here, his sarong and the three-wheeler here. So I said, this is my frame. And even in the previous one, this man's hand, which goes parallel to this upper arm of this man, this part of the thing is framed, like Reedy Goat is the brand name of this ice cream vendor. Unfortunately, the vendor is not visible here. She is, I think, bent, and she gets covered to this too because she is serving the ice cream. So that's my style, I would say. And a similar setup I found in London, like the cup of plenty in this man's hand. These three were having beer mugs, like plastic transparent disposable cups, and they were having a conversation. So with the writing on the road, I thought this is a very nice setup. I just took a shot and found, I chipped into the screen and found these people are not properly framed. So I took another shot after adjusting my position, and then I waited for some interesting thing to happen in this space, because I knew these people, how they were carrying on their conversation, that they are not going to move. So then one lady came, she was doing something, but I was not very happy. Then I tried to have some cyclists there, but it didn't work. By the time the shutter released, the timing wasn't right. Then a couple came again, the timing wasn't right. So I waited further until this man appeared. He was coming from somewhere there. And when he came to this shot, I just clicked and ended up after my post-processing, I arrived at this frame, which I think is a very nice composition with all the markings on the road symbolizing the street and the dark background. These people are carrying on their conversation. Now, no one in the photograph knew that I had taken this photograph. That is the most interesting part of it. Okay, where and when I shoot. Now, I found this interesting statement by Jim Richardson, who is a National Geographic photographer. He says, if you want to be a better photographer, stand in front of more interesting stuff. It's a very interesting statement. How I interpret it is, if I'm in a village, a street photograph might be something like this. An old lady might cross the scene. So nothing much very actively happening here. But if I'm in a city or a town, now this was in Liverpool, these youngsters, they were playing with their skateboards. They had brought a platform like or an inclined step-like thing, and they come rolling and run over that, and they produce these acrobatics in the middle of the town. So I took the photographs without disturbing them. So very candid and action shots. So I thought these should be the street photographs. But please don't get me wrong, this is what I practice. Now there are many definitions, many people's styles, very renowned world, international street photographers. So if any of you follows them, please do so, because there is so far no strict, rigid definition. So this again from PETA. Again, you can see my way of framing the scene. The near layer, these two people. This man was loading this and with his tool here, like a hook-like thing. And this man is exiting from the frame. This one is also exiting. And you can see the cart full of potatoes, and there's another lorry behind. So that's the story. So I always feel that I produce street photographs like this. This is one way of my framing. Like I keep using people at the edges. So I think, I don't know, it's up to you to decide. Again, these fish vendors in Cambridge, at the Cambridge City Market, I was standing in the queue. There was a queue. They had their social distancing 2 meters apart. So I was like the third person. I didn't want to buy fish, but I waited there. This man was negotiating with the vendor, and the other one is putting, I think, his order into the shopping bag. And I don't think any of these people knew that I was taking a photograph. So that's my being invisible in the scene. And mind you, this is 24 millimeter. I'm about 4 meters or 6 meters away from these people, or even less. So just took my photograph and left the place. Now this was from Nikon era, without any rotating this thing. I just held the camera at my waist level and shot it when I saw these two girls. I was trying to cross the road from this side of the road to the other side. They were coming from that side, that end. Both of them were dressed, identically dressed, and maybe they were sisters. I just took the shot and it worked. This work. And another place that I like to do street photography is art galleries and museums. The mood is very nice, nice lighting you'll find. And these people, they are admiring the art exhibits in this gallery. So I just took the photograph without disturbing any of them. Rather, whether sun or rain, I like to do street photography. This photograph didn't come up to my mark. I wanted to have this umbrella with the design and these three ladies framed between these two arms. That is what I wanted. 24 millimeter. I was almost like hitting on this can very close in Nigambu. And why I'm telling you that this is not up to my mark, can you see the camera blur? Now this is aperture priority. This is the EXIF data. That time I was using 100 ASA or 100 ISO, sorry. And the shutter speed was 125th of a second when I wanted to have depth. But it wasn't fast enough to freeze the arms. So I'm not very happy about it. After this shot only and this excursion to Nigambo, I think I could, I was satisfied only with 2 photographs. All the others were blurred. So I was very disappointed. And thereafter I started using the manual mode so that I can have my own shutter speed. And I realized that just raising the ISO doesn't make any difference. Now this is a shot taken in rain, generally using symbolizing rain with an umbrella is very popular. Now here I have used a oil patch on wet asphalt, creating these rainbow colors. This is how I have represented the rain here. It was drizzling in Edinburgh. And sometimes you don't need any people in the street, in a street photograph. Even a mark of a man, or as Eliot Irving says, manifestations of man can be included within your frame and consider it as a street photograph. This poster pasted on this lamp post attracted my attention, and I took this picture on this very gloomy day in winter. I think this is also a good street photograph. Okay, one of the shortcomings of my shooting is that, can you see these 3 frames? See the serial numbering. Only 1 shot per situation. You know, this is, maybe I have inherited this from the film era. We were very stingy to waste films. Sometimes, you know, if this doesn't work, the shot gets wasted. So I don't advise anyone to do that. This is how I do, but now I am better. I take more shots than one. Okay, how I look for opportunities. This is as many experts have advised. I do either hunting, fishing, or following. Hunting refers to you go to a public place and keep your eyes wide open and look for interesting situations. Now, this lady, I found her walking very briskly with a pineapple in her hand and, two bags hanging on the shoulder, very brisk walk. I just shot like a hunter shooting. We are shooting with the camera. Then this man, all these shots, only this one, no two or several, no burst mode in operation. It's single shots. Now this man, as I was coming out from another lane, crossroad, I saw this man passing in front of me. I just pointed the camera and shot. And so in summer, so this represents the summer era because they like to show off. Even these two girls, they are having off-shoulder, what do you call that, open shoulder or something, dress. All just like hunting. As you see the subject, you shoot. Same here in Oxford. The man was just sleeping on this bench. I thought the scenery is nice. The human element is there, public place. Just took the shot. Whereas fishing is when you find an interesting setup, you wait there for an interesting thing to happen. Now I was on this side of a bus stop. There's a double-decker part. And there's a broken plexiglass. So I was trying to shoot through this broken part. And this man riding his bicycle while concentrating on his mobile phone, very risky thing. I just shot. This is like fishing. You wait until someone, like a fish coming and eating your bait. You wait for the situation. The next shot, I put the camera out of this same location. Only thing the camera is now out, and you can see the reflection of the bus. And I saw this girl coming very briskly, and she knew I'm focusing from this end. She turned her head and I shot it. So I can't now publish this because of the I don't know whether it's ethical to publish when you take a picture without the consent. But certain countries like Americans, they don't care. They say street photography, you can photograph anything on the street because no one can find fault with you if they are in a public place. So that is in America, but I don't know in England. Same again here. Again, the fishing technique where I waited because of this closed shop window with the red female attire and this black and white poster. I waited someone would come. This elderly gentleman with a shuffling gait came, and as he was crossing this point, I shot. Again, fishing in a art gallery, this huge exhibit made of all kinds of radios from old versions up to the very modern ones. They all are working they have you can't identify what is being broadcast, but they are playing. So this adult and the child came and they were going around and around. I was waiting. I like this highlight and I wanted to have a silhouette and I did it. following is when you see someone which you think is interesting, you follow until you come to a interesting in the sense now this lady was, I noted her in a very crowded place, but I was coming behind her because of her size and the dress. And when she neared this white vehicle, I took my shot. Same here, I saw this character in a very shabby dress, but he was having a very peculiar walk. So I followed him until he came and stopped here with his arms like this, and I took my shot. Now again, only the gestures, only the body language, no face details. So that's my style, I would say. What I am naturally drawn to, always limited color patterns are my interest in these dull blue and dull pinkish red, and the textures and forms and patterns, geometric shapes, etc., etc. And again, you can see the way. Now, this was last year, October, I think, or August. We did our first excursion. This arm. I would say it makes the picture very much alive rather than just without this person. Actually, I post this to one of the FB pages or Infinity, and some unknown person had commented, "Matahari duka itala." So I thought the picture is effective because it has evoked emotion in him or her. Now again, another thing that I am very much interested in is the figure to ground relationship. Now in Cambridge, all these old buildings of universities and colleges, they have been built huge, and see the size of a man compared to the building. These two people were sitting and resting. They must be doing some construction work. And I took this shot. Now this is 70 millimeter. This person noted that I'm taking the picture, so he asked whether for them to move out of the picture. I said, no, you can wait there, and took this picture because I like the lighting, giving this dim, moody lighting with relieving all the, exposing all the textures, and this road Trinity Lane. That's the narrowest lane in Cambridge, I suppose. Again, limited colors. Anyway, in Cambridge, you don't find very vivid colors. All buildings are very beige or brown. So this is how the sun was, this area was shaded, and some road works are being done. So I waited for these people to cross this. Now this shot I took several people, but I like these two. So I completed with this. Now this was taken long ago in Beta. Now another thing that I get attracted is not the face, but the human surface anatomy, these muscles in action. Now I like to show up the strength in this man rather than his poverty. If I show up his face, it's the poverty, it's not his profession. Now this way. Now even those Natamis in Peta, I'm trying to highlight the profession rather than their struggle to live or their poverty. So human surface anatomy, like these muscles in action or the varicose veins, those things attract my attention. Maybe something that I have trained with my main profession, being a physiotherapist. Another thing that I like very much is the calm and quiet places like this. Now, these people did not know that I have taken this picture. Very white background in British Museum. These people are seated and preoccupied with their phones, I suppose. I took the picture. Okay, how I compose and time shots. Now this picture I showed you, this one, after taking it, I uploaded to my Facebook page. And I got this comment by Mr. Panduka De Silva, my teacher in digital photography. He had said interesting composition. Then before I saw his comment, he writes further, rules broken, but works as a street photograph. So I thanked him when I saw him. So here he says rules broken. I don't know which rule would be the reason this. Now there's a standard like a norm. If the person is looking in this direction, you have to leave a lot of room in that direction, which I haven't done. But in this composition, what I have used is, I consider these two people like a curtain of a theater opening. This girl walks this way, that man walks that way. And in between, I saw this lady on a bicycle with her dog. So I actually wanted to frame this part between these two people. When I was processing, I realized this is all luck. This man has also turned toward her, so that there's an implied line where he's looking from there to there. So there's a dynamism working between these three figures. And there are a lot of standard things now. This is a very light tone square there. We have learned that white patch or a light tone attracts our attention more than a dark area. So true, it attracts, but these lines will bring our attention back because of these three active people. So that may be the reason why my teacher has said it works as a street photograph. There's a little bit of very high dynamism in this picture, I think. Now, there are many other people, even here. Now, in street photographs, we are not supposed to edit. We are presenting the situation as it is. I have not done any form of editing. I'm not good at it anyway. So no removal of people other than, say, if there's a white particle, a dust-like particle interfering with the attention or drawing my attention, I might remove them, which we are allowed. But even though this man is like touching this lady, still, as you look at the scene, these people become very insignificant, I would say. The picture is between these three. A similar situation here. Now, no one is in the role of thirds towards the edges. Again, Mr. Panduka De Silva, I know. Now, when he comments, I know that it's a photograph with some effect. That's why and Ravi, Vasninias, Milan, Hera, they all have commented saying that it's a good photograph. Actually, this lady, because of her plus size, and she was wearing a red checked skirt and a beige color. I can show you the scene. Here's the raw file. So I thought this is on a gloomy day again. Now again from the waist level, just shoot so that you can see the road is getting, this area without any detail comes into the picture. So I adjusted the shadows and highlights, etc. And I did this, and I framed this to a 16 by 9, a 16 to 9 composition so that it makes the picture looks wide, so that they are. And I waited until this lady raised her arm to a bus or some oncoming vehicle to stop it. So that was the, like what Present says, the decisive moment for me is this raising of the arm. Again here, this man, as I was walking on this side of the road, I saw him, turn the other way. I waited until he turned with his boxers. I included this in the foreground to make it much more interesting than if it were a plain road. Now this is a street with some signs. This yellow color, they all harmonize nicely, and this blue complements. So that's my shot. I waited till he turned and he was framed against this dark background. Again, timing. That was also timing. Now this one, this cyclist, I believe we tend to imagine the balance. With our previous experiences, there are some cycles parked here, the sign here. So it gives some story about the street, about the cycle lane and cycle park. Vertical compositions also I do, but these I have never tried without looking through the viewfinder. I am still not confident in doing that. Whenever there are tall elements, I use the vertical or portrait format. This one, this lady bringing some boxes. These are Amazon delivery people. Again, a vertical format. I waited till someone appeared that light patch or the other side in the shade and included this lamp also in the picture. This is again a reflection in a shop window. There was an elegant mirror. So I had turned toward that. And these ladies, they are walking behind me on the street. This lady walking close to me. So they are reflection I caught. For this, you have to take time and study this. Unfortunately, this looks small in this screen. I'll try to, no, sorry. Sorry. So keeping the viewer the chance to think what's really happening here is also part of the street photography technique. Okay, how I process, very simple, nothing to do. I take the Photoshop and adjust the levels, and sometimes when I do shoot from waist level, the horizon line is not right, so I have to correct it. I use Photoshop for that. Then I either use Nik collection or the topaz to enhance the details whenever required. Other than that, there's any hardly, like removing a figure or nothing really editing. It's all enhancing. Okay, all good things must come to an end, including this presentation. I don't know whether I have taken too long. I'd like to end this session with this quote from a text I found in the internet about Cartier-Bresson. Cartier-Bresson had the tendency of saying that one must approach the subject with the stealth of a wolf and velvet gloves. No hurry. He would say that a fisherman would never throw a stone where he wants to catch a fish in the river. You have to do exact the same thing with photography, especially with street photography. That is what he is famous for. So that is what I do now. I don't disturb the, the scene unless there are certain street portraits that I have made. Whenever I see an interesting character, I softly introduce myself and speak to them. And if they give their consent, I take few shots, which I haven't included in this presentation, to confirm that I am a very strict disciplinarian of Cartier-Bresson. So that's it. Thank you very much. Thanks, organizers, for giving me this chance. I hope I have shared something useful to you. Thank you again.
Thank you, Rohana. It is excellent presentation, and I think chat box is full with comments. So I think
sorry. I can see the chat box. I was
yeah,
concentrating
you
on
can.
that.
So it is up. If anyone need further clarification from Rohana, is the time for you.
Everyone who has commented. Thank you very much.
I think it's more than the clarification. It's excellent presentation, Rohana. And I like the way you have approached the presentation and also the images you shared with us. I really like to comment on the fact that you have been brave to kind of break the rules, rule of the third and the rules. Especially I like the way that you are framing the people to, the people exiting from the frame. I think
thank you very much for
that's really nice.
That. Thank you.
Yeah, that's really nice. Especially the PETA photograph now really looking at it, I think having those figures cut half partly is I think it's okay.
That's my style, I suppose. I just checked my previous ones, like something that I have photographed in 2014 and 15. The same flavor is there, which I had not included in this presentation.
Yes, we don't want to consider it as a figure, it's a frame.
It's a
simple
frame.
as that.
Yes.
Yeah, that's right. That's how I frame the shot.
This is Laya here, Ron. Excellent presentation. Love your, sorry, is there somebody else talking? Okay, I like the way you're thinking, and your photographs really reflect your thinking. That's why you have managed to kind of broken many rules. Now, just one thing, and I also like the way that you are taking the photograph from the waist down. That sometime back when I was in film era, I wanted to get a Rolleiflex just for that reason. But then I've been looking for the DSLRs with the swiveling LCD. Now, just one question to you: when you're doing that, do you find the lag in time between you try to press the shutter and taking the shutter? It's a hindrance to your photography.
Very true. It happens. You should have noticed it in certain pictures that I showed in London market. Certain figures that I wanted to be there didn't work. So you have to master that timing thing. When you keep practicing, it comes. Now I think I'm okay. Hello.
Yeah,
I think I answered your question.
Yes, you did.
There is a lag.
Yeah.
I don't know how it is in mirrorless cameras, but my 6D Mark II is very much like a mirrorless. I mean, there is a mirror, but when you are on live view mode, it's very much like a mirror. It's real time thing that you see, but there is a tiny lag.
Yeah, I have a Nikon 7200 and 7500 now, that because of the LCD screen, I find that there's a little lag, which is kind of disconcerting at times.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And I think one famous street photographer like Elliot Erwitt, or I can't remember who he is exactly, he has completely prohibited this. He says not to do it. Whereas, you know, it's up to, it's very difficult now even calling these composition things as rules. I think they are like things that we have learned rather than rules. It's no one is trying to find fault with you, but you know, if you stick to those things, your picture will look better. Whereas with experience, I have now noticed these people exiting and considering it as a opening of a curtain in a theater. Two people going into different directions. To me, it's very interesting. And my colleagues, Charmini, they confirmed it now.
Mahin, you have a question, no?
Yes, Rohana, thank you very much for that excellent presentation. I think what a whole new meaning to the phrase shooting from the waist. What I want to ask is now, actually now I also come across that situation when you're street photography, you're embarrassed to take the camera up and do that. So I think that's something you can try at certain level. Now, how do you focus now, the focus point? Now, see if you're,
that is something.
How do you do that? Do you kind of just keep it in the center of the screen and then the focus point, keep it in the center?
Focus point, I'll tell you how I do it now. I tried what you call the focus zones method, but it didn't, I haven't mastered the technique well. Now what I do is, as I stand on a place when I think that the place is interesting for me to make a photograph, I focus a point and switch on to the manual and wait. But if it is a sudden thing like hunting, then sometimes the thing goes out of focus. You can't help it. But if you have a reasonably small aperture like f8 or 11, most of the time it doesn't make a big difference unless someone
when you mean
sorry.
So when you mean manual in the sense the
lens barrel
you go to in the lens barrel. You go from auto from in the lens you change
to manual. Yeah.
In the lens. Okay.
In the lens only.
Right. Okay. So that
disables the autofocus mechanism. So where you have focused, why are you listening? Hello.
Yes, we can hear.
Sense that's possible, I guess. No, so you can. Okay, right. I understand now.
So once you switch it to manual focusing, you disable the mechanism. But where you have focused, it stays at that point. Otherwise, if someone crosses your lens, as you release the shutter, it upsets the focus.
Right.
That's a good point, mine, that you are bringing out. That one of the things that I do, and I think some photographers do that, I have disabled the focus on the shutter release and put it down to a back focus point. So when I actually use the back focus, it focuses and it disables it. So when I'm releasing the shutter, it doesn't try to focus. And as Rohana said, that if somebody actually goes in front, it does not get disturbed. So that way it prevents you having to actually go and manually actually put the switch on or off. The back focus button is available on pretty well every camera.
Every camera, yes. Actually, all these cameras have so many facilities, so we have to make use of them, you know, what suits you, rather than just, you know, following another person. Sometimes my son uses pre-focusing, zone focusing. He studies the hyperfocal thing, and he's thorough with that.
Now this autofocusing thing, you two things Mahin and Laya told that you are using you use you autofocus and lock the focus, whereas Laya using the back focusing,
Yes,
that's
yes.
shot to shot it will change. Is it correct, Laya?
That is correct, yes.
Okay.
But I
In
wonder
other words, what you are
whether
doing is you have to disable it from the shutter release, because normally the camera comes equipped with shutter release focus. As everybody knows,
Yeah,
you
that's right.
halfway through and it focuses. So in the menu, you have to remove that. And then you actually transfer the focus on, autofocus on to this, any back focus button. I just use the AEL and AEL because which I don't use at all. So
you
I
can assign
transfer
that
it to that, and that becomes my back focus, and it works on the LCD screen as well.
One advantage in my camera is that you can touch, it gets focused and shutter can be released. So if I have time, I use that. It depends on the situation. Something like that cyclist, bare-bodied cyclist, there wasn't any time left for me. I just point and shot. That's it.
Yeah, I found that in my 7500, that feature is there. I've been trying that. It's quite neat.
Yes. It's very fast, very convenient.